Everyone, welcome to the show. I have huge, intriguing updates to share about Dominion and the defamation lawsuit against Fox. The trial was supposed to begin today. The judge pushed it back to tomorrow, though. And according to the Washington Post, two sources say that the parties are discussing a possible settlement. And the Wall Street Journal confirmed this on Sunday in a report. They said, quote, Fox has made a late push to settle the dispute out of court. And they would know because, remember, the Wall Street Journal is owned by Fox Corporation. But here's the deal. There was a report just before I started recording today that said that it's unlikely that they're going to settle. There were three sources now who've been quoted as saying, no, it doesn't look like it's going to happen because in part because both parties were filing all kinds of motions this morning. So it doesn't look like they came to an agreement, and I probably know why, which I'll explain to you guys in a minute, but this was to be expected because, they're freaking out. The hosts of the shows have to be freaking out about having to testify because remember, the judge ruled not only does Rupert Murdoch have to testify in person, Tucker Carlson, Maria Bartiromo, all of their hosts that are in the hot seat have to go and testify in front of this jury. They are going to have their own words played on a loop across every network. Because think about it, it's not just liberal-leaning shows that are going to be repeating their testimony. It's going to be their competitors. It's going to be right-wing shows. They are going to use their words against them to try to steal their audience. So, in this way, CNN, MSNBC, they are perfectly aligned with OAN and Newsmax. They're probably also terrified because the network is going to take it in the shorts, more than likely to the tune of billions of dollars. What is that going to mean for their salaries, their future at Fox? I know people are saying, oh, they have so much money. But remember, this is just one of two lawsuits. And Trump is definitely freaking out. It appears he woke in a panic at 3 a.m. because he posted this all caps rant, yelling at Fox News, telling them not to settle. He's actually advising them to lie more. Yeah. Trump wrote in all caps, which I'm showing you guys on the screen right now if you're watching the video, quote, Fox News is in big trouble if they do not expose the truth on cheating in the 2020 election. They should do what's right for America. Blah, 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 goes on for a little while. And by the way, for the YouTube gods, this is all false. What he's saying is false about the stolen election. It was not stolen. It did not happen. Anyway, Trump goes on for a while, blathers on. He ends it with, quote, just tell the truth and good things will happen. The election of 2020 was rigged and stolen, spelled with two L's. So, for once he actually said something right? It just tell the truth and good things will happen. He was right in that regard. But it was not stolen, Trump. And he wasn't done. He went on to write another all caps screed. He pushed the fairy tale of the stolen election. And then he said, quote, if Fox would finally admit that there was large scale cheating and irregularities in the 2020 presidential election, which would be a good thing for them and for America. That's kind of what they're being sued for, but okay. The case against them, which should not have existed at all, would be greatly weakened. Back up those patriots at Fox instead of throwing them under the bus. And they are right. There is so much proof. And then he goes on to name all these things that didn't actually happen. So no, really? How, if you lie more, are you going to weaken the case? And they had their chance. Remember, if there's so much proof with these three O's that Trump used, why didn't Fox present that proof and that evidence to the court? They tried and failed to get the case tossed. They tried and failed to get the judge to issue a summary judgment in their favor. Surely if they had the evidence and could have presented it to the court, that they could have gotten it thrown out. And don't call me Shirley. I know you were all thinking of it. Anyway, Why didn't they produce this evidence? He is insane. The thing is, though, he knows that he should be terrified because a Fox settlement would hurt his candidacy. Think about it. He knows that a Fox settlement would undoubtedly include numerous on-air, repeated apologies and retractions. And they're not going to say, oh, yeah, 3 a.m. on a, Tuesday night, you can do the retraction and the apology. They're going to want this on their most popular shows. Dominion would definitely say, no, it's got to be on Tucker Carlson's show. He's got to do it every night. He has to tell the audience that you guys lied. And even if they can't reach the diehard MAGA cult members, those retractions and their admittance of zero evidence of election fraud would definitely reach some of the Trump supporters that are still sane. And yes, they do exist. I know some. And they would finally realize what we've all known from day one. He is a complete loser. He's a complete fraud. And guess what? His lies have cost dozens and hundreds of people to end up losing their freedom. And Fox knows the evidence against them is extremely damning. It's extremely overwhelming. It was getting worse for them even over this past week because I don't know if you guys heard this, but Fox host Bret Baier approached the executives and posited the idea of doing an hour-long special to debunk all of these nonsense election fraud conspiracies. But the news outlet ignored him. This was sometime after the 2020 election, and Fox executives never even bothered to respond to him. So that's very damning. It bolsters Dominion's argument that they just flat out refused to even bother to tell their audience the truth. And in the past week also, Fox's former producer, Abby Grossman, issued additional accusations against the network. Grossberg, as you guys know, she's suing Fox. She agreed to testify against them on behalf of Dominion. And she alleges that Fox pressured her into giving false testimony during her deposition for this case. Well, Grossberg is now claiming that either Fox executives or their attorneys deleted some of the messages on her phone. These were messages between her and Fox host Maria Bartiromo. And in a new filing in her lawsuit, she said that this happened when they collected her phone to try to gather information to comply with the discovery phase for this case. Now, here's the major problem for Fox. Even if they were to settle this Dominion case, like I said, they still have the Smartmatic lawsuit, and that's even bigger. Smartmatic is suing the network for almost $3 billion, and that doesn't include punitive damages. The jury can award punitive damages that far exceed the actual damages. And it was recently reported that Smartmatic issued a subpoena to Abby Grossberg. She will be testifying in their trial as well. So Fox is screwed any way you look at it. And what's hysterical is that they took out a full-page ad today in the New York Times. So if you guys are watching the video, I have it on the screen for you. For those listening on the podcast, it's a list of who has more favorability or believability, I guess you should say, with the different networks. So they list like NBC, MSNBC, different networks, and they show that they're the most trusted by their audience. All this tells us is that their audience isn't that bright, right? Compared to the rest of us who know that it's all a bunch of bullshit propaganda. It's all to appease the people who pay to place ads on their network, right? If you have Big Pharma placing an ad on, say, MSNBC, and they know that they have funded, whomever, pick a Democrat. If they're not a progressive, they're probably receiving money from Big Pharma. Big Pharma doesn't want you to talk shit and get that particular Democrat in trouble, because then they might not get reelected. It's all a mutual agreement, unstated mutual agreement that, hey, you don't tank the lawmakers, you don't talk shit about them and tank their chances of reelection, the ones that we fund, and we'll keep advertising on your network. I mean, it's not hard to figure out. We all know this, but apparently Fox viewers haven't figured this out yet. They still think that Fox is the only network that tells the truth. So again, that proves nothing. Yeah, you're trusted by whom? Anyway, guys, when I hear more, I'll let you know. But as it stands right now, it looks like this lawsuit will go forward. The trial will start tomorrow. I will definitely keep you guys posted. I will follow every twist and turn and report back. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Please like, share, and subscribe. Donate if you can. Love you all. Take care, and I'll talk with you soon.